everyone. Um, I hope you're all having a wonderful afternoon. I have a fantabulous guest here today, and her name is Dianne Campbell, and she is the entrepreneur's architect. I love that. Where did you come up with that name from?
That took a long time to create, and actually it was part of the ability to be able to launch online. I struggled with it. Who am I? What do I do? How do I present it? What is it all about? I can define that kept so it was so invisible for so long. And a girlfriend actually, as soon as I heard it, I said, "Oh my God, that domain name, buy it, buy it." So I did immediately. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how that process works. I found that, you have to think about it and mull it over and, because in the past I've had a few businesses where I've named it and I go, no.
Yeah, and then checking for availability. Perfect name, and you check the domain availability, and it isn't there, and you go, oh no, what am I going to do now? So I very much lucked out on the availability. It was pretty cool.
Yes, back to the drawing board, That's just the worst thing in the world, is have to go back to that drawing board, put the thinking cap on and go, ugh. All right, so.
Well, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you don't have to put the thinking cap on. So part of what I love about what I do is I take you from exactly where you're at to clearing out all the confusion and the mess and all those shiny objects that are jumping out at you, because you've made your mark, you've launched, you're out the gate, and you've been doing exactly what you should be doing, and it's paying off. And then all of a sudden it's like, but I can go over here, but I can go over here, but I can grab this and do this, but how does that fit in? And the old adage that you hear about in all of these support groups, you're in your business. You're not projecting your business out. You're just sitting in your business. And the time that you're spending should be reserved for those things that make money, right? That's really the ultimate goal, because money is king. It's what we're all about. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Business. The bottom line is our profit, so we can move forward and do bigger and do better things.
And you gotta eat.
That's pretty much what yeah, exactly. And hopefully eat very well.
So let me just introduce Dianne here a little bit. Dianne offers marketing plans to fine-tune the entrepreneur path of growing revenue streams while creating a certainty. I know this name. I just can't say it today. Synergy. Yes, thank you. Between the marketing plans and the business plans. Eliminating the unknown of what is my best next step. I love that. Yep. And then, let's see. She goes on to say that she takes the Huh?
I was going to say, you nailed it with that. That's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Right. And I just want to finish introducing you, and then we can kind of go through that if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay. And I mean, because these are some real juicy stuff here. So she also takes the demystifying marketing plan in today's busy, loud world full of shiny objects. I love that constantly pull the business owner in different directions. Dianne likes to take a pause and really define who, the customer, and how does your business best reach them. That is awesome. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's business planning 101. And a lot of times you know it, you think about it, you actually maybe never write it down, but it's always up here. And then as you get in the trenches of developing your business, especially the entrepreneur path, it tends to get either lost or it's not the focus anymore. And going back to all of those things brings so many aha moments of like, that's exactly where I want to go. That's who I wanted to reach. Yeah. So it's fun. It's not tedious. It's actually fun.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of us get lost is in all the planning. We've got and like you said, all these wonderful shiny objects, and you're going here, you're going there, you're going for this training, you're going for that training, and pretty soon your head just gets so full of all this information, you're losing sight of, like you said, define who is the customer and how does your business best reach them. I think that says it all, because without that, you can't put a plan together. I don't think.
You're right. Yeah.
So
what happens?
Oh, go ahead.
You fall into all of those things coming at you, and every entrepreneur I've worked with, and myself included in this, because it hits every one of us. We work home a lot. We work alone a lot. We only connect with those that we put ourselves out there for. And you just sometimes find that you just want to dive into bed, pull the covers over your head, and go, "What did I even start? What am I doing?" Yeah, and we have those days too. Just just the overwhelm is so fantastic sometimes that we just want to duck and run and hide. I call it ostracizing. We want to stick our head in the sand and don't come out again.
Yeah. I've been there way too many times.
Yeah, you're not alone.
And I think that's what's needed is that, and I cannot hide this for some reason. I think that's the reason why so many people need to just stick with one person, stick with one group, instead of trying to go out there and find all these, unless it comes to technology and things like that they need to know, in order to help them run their business. That's different. But if they want to, I believe that you have to stay with one person and stick with it. And you offer what, like a 4-week program?
So I have a 4-week intensive. I'm sadly not one of those people that wants to marry and stand by and hold your hand forever and ever and ever. I took a dive into that as a life coach. And while I had great success and I really enjoyed the work I was doing, there was this calling at the end of every success point saying, something's missing. For me, something was missing. And it's the business building aspect. It's actually the strategic planning and diving into the fun part of that. So I pulled back. I wrapped up with my client base, and I really had to do a lot of think tank and figure out exactly what it was that my passion was, because the world of entrepreneur support is huge and you can go in so many different directions. And as I mapped out a few, I actually thought processed them out and put together a couple of plans, and then basically said, no, this is what I love to do. So I teach a business planning, and I also teach a strategic marketing plan course. And in both of those courses, my greatest thrill is when I have a variety in the audience, and they've all got issues about growth, how to grow, where to grow, how to get the best bang for your buck, what's the best avenue to take, and what makes sense for what their business is, again, relating to their customer, making the transition of finding that customer, turning them into a customer a lot easier. And the other thing was, which I love doing this, is analyzing those marketing initiatives you do. Nobody does them. No one actually looks at them as an 8-week project I should look back on and see how it's going. What am I, and this comes from the business world, but what are my KPIs? What are my key performance initiatives? How did they do? Do I need to adjust? Should I stop spending money here and maybe switch it over here? That's okay to do as an entrepreneur. And so many feel married to something they invested in or a path they chose, But the next thing you know, they're kind of lost and struggling with it, and it's not paying off, and it's not even fun. It's more of a task. And then when you're done evaluating what needs to be fixed, do we go back? Do we keep it the same? And if it was great, how about a rinse and repeat? Can we automate it to make our lives easier and free up our time, right? Where technology comes in.
Right.
Yeah. And that's where I got my biggest thrill. It didn't matter if the business person sitting there had a 14-year-old established business or was just out the gate 6 months and had a little money to invest but wasn't sure where. It was like, let's rock this. So I really enjoy doing that work. So I have a 4-week intensive that I offer. It is for business people that have launched and are looking for exactly what we just discussed here. And that's why it's 4 weeks. You need to put,
Right.
We'll put the ideas together. We'll make sure you've got a clear map and a path to follow. And then I deck out and let you do. Go make it happen and check in with me in another couple of months and share your success. So it's fun.
That is great.
That is great. Thanks.
Can I get an echo again?
You're fine on my end.
Okay.
Your picture's fine.
Okay, so let's talk about your superpower.
So that's pretty much it. The superpower is, and I had to be in this environment more than 6 times to realize it, and hear the audience actually defining it for me, because I think, like most introverts with an extrovert personality, we don't always pick up on it ourselves. And what it came back from my students and a few clients, that they were like, no matter what I give you as a marketing or looking for a growth avenue problem, I see it as a problem, or I'm stuck here. You just really, you get it, you wing it out, you just define it, you give us the verbiage, you say it so well, and we're just like, can we record you? I'm like, sure. So I didn't realize that's a superpower, but it really is. And I've been doing it all my life. So started in corporate and had some jobs that were business development, actually developing business divisions, new launches, and love it. Just loved it. So.
Oh, wow. That's an awesome background, actually. I think that sets you up already to help others, being in that corporate world, doing what you have been doing already, and then being able to establish what you can bring to others, and
then toss in the age factor. Which is why I was so thrilled to be here, because for so many years, not knowing what my superpower is or was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not feeling I had all the badges of honor, because my career path has been up and down. I took time off. I was a foster parent. I had the life hiccup. I'm bouncing back. All these things we go through that they kind of strip you of your confidence level, and you lose sight of who you are. You forget how to dream. You actually forget what you were good at one point. And I'm coming out of that. So the thrill of being able to even admit I have a superpower, that's pretty huge,
Yes.
And I think that's what we go through as we're approaching an older age. You said in our private conversation, we come with so much wisdom, but I think in this world of open communication, where you're watching all these eager beaver and beautiful younger people going, so strong and so straight and so forward, and you kind of go, ooh, I love them, but I'm a little intimidated by it all. I'm older. How do I fit in? What do I do with this? And I do think you're right. Our wisdom has a lot to do with it. But emerging and finding that confidence and really figuring out what your superpower is, it's huge. It's huge. And I think that's been real important with some of my older clients that are my age, launching an entrepreneur effort, diving in. They're either tired of corporate or they love what they're doing in corporate, but they know they can do it better. they see a solution for something, or they're just like I was, they're unemployable. They didn't have a straight path of total one field of endeavor, and you hit 55, 56, and I'll tell you, for 3 years I fought to get that really good job that was going to put me back on the map, and it just wasn't there. So I gave up. I gave up searching. Why bother? It's too depressing, actually.
Well,
so I'll take my
first of all, you don't need a badge of honor. You just have to be you, and
That's true.
be authentic and transparent. I find that has been the greatest personality you can have, because you know, even though we're older, you know, we don't need that. You know, I understand what you're saying, because I had been out of the loop for so long, and then I came back and I was in the same boat. What do I do now? Oh my God, I'm too old. I watch all these young people doing these fantastic things, and then I have to remember I was one of those young people. You know, I was one of those work at home mommies, you know? So for me, it's like, of course you can do this. Of course you can do this. And that's why I liked your superpower. You already know what your superpower is. And that's what I hope to let everybody that comes here that is in our age bracket to know, that you have your own superpowers. You just have to dig and find them.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. And it's just so, I get comments from friends that have known me forever, and the comments are, you look like the best I've ever seen you. And part of that is just, I know who I am now.
Yes.
And I'm in the process of bringing it out to the world. So I haven't officially launched a website. I haven't officially done anything. But I'm doing the steps that work for me while I'm coming out of the whole survival mode and you know, reestablishing myself. And it's fun. I'm letting it be fun. So
Right. You have to have fun. That's why I like my show, and I like to laugh, and I like to, you know, kid around with people. It's just, I am who I am. I'm transparent. You know, being a goofball sometimes is my way of being authentic. Well, it's not my way of being authentic. I am, according to my husband. Anyway.
I love that.
But yeah, I mean, now is the time to enjoy our life. Now is our time to be whoever we want to be. And I love that you are taking the time to say, I got enough time. I have enough time to really think this through and make sure it works for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so many people just go at it, and they just like throw spaghetti against the wall and make sure, you know, to see if it's going to stick. I think slow is better.
If you can afford slow, though, I will say, Beth, it's really hard sometimes when you're in that survival mode of, you know, I mean, my whole path it's been a very enlightening path, but the path getting here, it wasn't very fun. And when you start to look at the expectations of what you had from life, or what you put into life already, all the effort and the work you had done, and to find yourself, for lack of anything, homeless, without anything, supposedly lost it all. But what is all? You have to redefine all. And it's hard for a lot of people. It's really hard. So when I was doing the life coaching, those were my clients. I was walking that path. They had just fallen into it. And the work we did was fabulous for both of us, seriously, for both of us. But, you know, just being able to you know, come through that. Are you playing music for us now? Being able to come through that, it's just not an easy journey unless you're willing to be open and find the right connections. And and self-discovery. So I think one of the things we talked about when we started was one of my favorite things was, who am I? What are my hobbies? What are my passions? I can't even tell you. When I was in the trenches, on a good path of rebounding, what do I like to do? I'd be hard pressed to tell you. And when I ask our age group that, they're like, God, I don't know. I've been working so hard, and I'm the mom, and I'm the wife, and and I have a job or I have a business, and so unless you build those things in, our generation just got entrenched with just diving in, and that was our passion. We were the wife, we were the mom, we were the worker, we were but what was your passion for you? What'd you love to do? And I had a hard time finding that again.
And I think a lot of us do, because I did too as well. Like when the last child was leaving the nest was when my world kind of fell apart, to be honest, because I really didn't know what to do with myself anymore. And, because you spend your whole life, being the wife. I don't, some people aren't now, but I mean, being the wife, the caretaker, the caregiver, the nurturer, taking care of the children, all their activities, your days are just full. And then you got dinner, you got homework, all that stuff. And then I'd say about when they reach their teen years and they're driving and all that stuff, you're starting to go down. And then when they leave the nest, then it's finally like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what to do. Where do I start? And in today's world, so many people don't have 401s anymore, 401ks. Back in our day, a lot of people started out working really hard at a job and worked their way up, and they had stock in companies. So like when they quit, they had their pensions. I mean, a lot of people are losing that. So
scary. And the statistics, if you go by the Social Security Administration, because when you look at businesses and why are so many over age 55 launching a business, after age 65, there's I think it's 62%. It's up to, it used to be 48 10 years ago. 62% are broke and penniless, or they're just surviving and living paycheck to paycheck, day to day. And if they do have anything saved up, it's not going to afford them the type of life if they can't work. And I fit into that. I'm day to day. I'm paycheck to paycheck. And man, I want to bust that bubble. So what's the best way to do it? It's not getting a job with someone. It's launch your business and go for it. And if I never bust the bubble to the point where I hit a $7 a 7-figure income, $1 million or plus, you know what? I'm okay with that, as long as I'm able to start enjoying the things I want and I enjoy the journey of getting there as much. And that's what I kept stopping and saying, I'm not just going to shove anything out there and see what comes back. I really want to put some serious thought to it and kind of test the waters with what I think is mine, because I've done a lot of testing the waters in my life up to 55, and some of it didn't work really well.
Been there.
I think so many of us have. So, I've given a talk to a couple of different groups. It depends upon who your audience is always. And that whole dream section always seems to come up. How hard is it for you to dream about what you love to do? Not, oh, we love to do this, my husband and I, or my children and I do this. What do you love to do? If you were stuck on an island by yourself, what would you bring with you? What are the 2 things you would bring with you, because for the next 6 months you could dive right in, be entertained, love it, and just enjoy it? And nobody can answer those questions, as you said. So
I don't think I could really. I could bring some crafts. I mean, I did that for years too. So I guess crafts, but I honestly probably would go crazy without my computer. I'm married to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So it's fun. But that was,
we have some people in the audience. Hello, Janice. How are you? And then we have Chrysanda. I'll put her up here. She says, oh, I can't see it. She says, Dianne, you have so much knowledge and kindness, and your superpower is also inspiring other people.
oh.
Couldn't have gotten where I am without your advice. That's why I had to.
Oh my!
I had to.
Cassandra, I'm gonna cry.
Thank you, Cassandra. I'm sorry.
Cassandra Larrabee, a beautiful person. She really is. She's just starting her path. Wow,
that's so sweet.
That is very sweet.
So when are you plan on launching? Well, I know you said you're taking your time, and I totally get that.
The push is on. I'm in the process of meeting with my web designer in that whole moving forward with, you know, what you need to do for online. I teach it, and now I'm walking the process, and there's obviously so much to it, the bells and whistles of connectivity. So it's a great experience because I'll go back and be able to introduce some of this path for launching a lot better. But I'm in the process of working with my branding and my website design, and of course finding the name was very key for that. And I've mapped out what I teach. I've mapped out my entire platform, so I know where I want to start and what I want to move into and where I want to grow and where I want to be when I ultimately grow up. So that having been done, it's just connecting. I know I will if I ever grow up.
Well, and we're going to be around for a long time, so that's the way I look at it. You know, why not continue doing what you love? And I love doing this. I also love to teach people, especially my age, to come on video and talk. You know that 90% of Facebook they're predicting in 2019 is going to be all video. So
yes, I've heard those stats. You're a very needed person because this is not my comfort zone at all.
It never used to be mine either. I'll have to be honest with you. I did YouTube videos back. I did it for 2008 to, I think it's been 6 years since I've done my last one. But they were mostly of the business I was in then. And but I really didn't look at the camera. I had my camera was focused down on things that I was creating. And back then, video was not as easy to do. You needed a really nice camera back then in order to actually do a stand-up video while showing, you know, how you're doing things. So, you know, I used to make a lot of my videos. Like I would take my pictures, add in the words and all that stuff. And I had the software to do that. I don't have patience to do that anymore. I don't.
So you turn it on and off you go now. And you can do that with technology.
Right. Right. And this is what I like to teach women our age because we're not used to, well, and I would even say under, but there's a lot, especially a lot of people our age who aren't familiar with technology like this. Be Live is really simple once you get into it. You know, you can even go live from your phone on Facebook. You know, talk about your products, your services, all those things. And you're going to get more traction, you know. And there's a lot more that goes into it, but then that's a whole nother topic and on a whole nother day. But
yeah.
So
and I find that's very brave of you because when I look at the big picture of, you know, the clients I what I'm looking to do, and you talk about my marketing strategy will be online because I want to capture that audience. I want to go global. I want to run online small group masterminds. I think there's power in that. And the connectivity is huge too. And you look at all of that, and there's this program for that, and this program for that, and then you got to back it up with this, and do you need to back it up with that? And what kind of website should you have, and how interactive does it have to be? And all of these things just come into play.
Yeah.
Not only you can strip it down and go bare bones, it's very easy to do, but then what I found was opportunities. They say, so do you have this for me because I need that? And it's like, oh, dang, no, I don't, but I can create that within a week. You get thrown back into doing something that you really need. Ultimately, it's all good, and ultimately you end up loving the fact that you were forced into doing it. But that initial step, hey, what do you need, and what don't you need, and how do you need it all? So, yeah, and that's why I said the website name is there. You won't get anything by Googling, www.the entrepreneursarchitect.com. Nothing's there yet, but it's coming. Not even an "it's coming" sign. And why bother? I had someone laugh and say it's a very long name for a website, and it's also a little kind of tough. And I said, number one, if you can't spell entrepreneur, you probably are not one. And architect added to it is just, my moniker. So I like it, and I'm keeping it. So hopefully it helps drive the right customer.
I've heard that in the past, and I've heard that throughout my entire life of being online. And whether that's really true or not, I really don't know anymore, because everything has changed so much. I mean, how do you not have a long name? I mean, mine is age is not a factor .live. And then I went and got all the rest of them. And then I went and got barbireland.com. So then you can forward all those names.
Yep.
So I just took barbireland.com and I forwarded it to age is not a factor. So I don't know. I just don't know if that holds any weight.
This is where I say you have to, when you've made up your mind or found something that really resonates with you and it's your truth, then don't be persuaded to change it. There was no way. I had 3 people say it almost simultaneously, and it was kind of like, okay, you're not an entrepreneur, number one, so it may seem like a long name to you, but I like it. I'm keeping it. What was funny is we were talking about shortcuts for it, which is really popular to do. The Entrepreneur's Architect. And I thought I could have a lot of fun playing with words on that, except I'm not a big tea drinker. I'm a coffee drinker, and I don't want to go that route. Just fun stuff.
Oh, gosh. Well, if you listen to everyone and not listen to your gut and not listen to yourself, you're going to wind up just being confused and not sure of yourself, because let's face it, when everybody starts telling you, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, or, do you really want to do that, or, oh, this is not going to work. You can't let those kind of things get into your head, because I've been there by letting things get into my head, and, I won't let it happen anymore.
This is what I love about our youth. I love this about our youth. They don't struggle with that. If you interact with any of them, they don't have this problem. This is an over age 50 problem. I really, really do believe. I don't want to put an age limit on it or frame it in any way. But in all honesty, it is an age 50 plus problem. I don't know whether it's because we were doing so much for others for so long, and that's where we got a lot of our opinions back from and our validation back from. But the youth do not have this issue, and I love that about them. They just look and go, yeah, well, it is what it is. And they keep going, so it's great. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because, I hate to keep saying back in the day, but it was back in the day, and it was people were doing videos, and they were so, so tense and so businesslike, and make sure that they had the proper wording and the language and all that stuff. And nowadays, it's you come on, you just be real. You be you. You be who you are. And you start to have that mentality that they do. I mean, it's the mentality is like, well, I don't care. Some are gonna watch it, some are gonna like it, some are gonna hate it. And I've adapted that type of mindset. And everybody talks about mindset, but you do have to have a certain type of mindset to be in any type of business. So that's my take on that.
I think you've always had to have a certain resilience to be in business. And you've always had to, I don't think we used to call it a mindset back then. We used to call it a focus. Anyone I knew that went into their own business or was that directive, they had such a serious and just a one path focus. And you hear that's coming back into play in conversation. It's not a mindset of making it happen, although there's a lot to that in today with spirituality and science merging. But I think the real, and I'm learning this from my entrepreneurs that I work with, they're focused. They're so focused, and nothing's going to get in their way. They're not going to let that little tree limb of a negative comment upset them. They're just going to hop right over that tree limb and keep going because they're so focused and they believe in what they're doing. So it's really awesome to see that. And I learn from them every time I have that exposure to them. It kind of boosts my confidence. Yeah, you go. So that human factor is so needed. And that's the other element that entrepreneurs don't have. We're alone a lot.
We are, and we wear many, many hats. We have to come up with creative advertising. In my case, I have another side gig where I have to do all of my shipping and things like that, billing. So, and you have to come up with your own ideas. You have to come up, if you have an ebook or something that you offer, you have to come up with your programs. So you're doing all these different things, and you are alone.
Yeah.
Because
that's why
go ahead.
That's why my group masterminds are moving up the level. They're fast overtaking even the one-on-one intense course, because I'm seeing more value in putting 4 to 6 women, as long as I go through and vet them out and they have the same, they're just in the same tribe area or they're in the same place with what they're looking for, and the powerful things that are coming out of those just half-hour meetings, Mm-hmm. But what I offer is the structure, the direction, the path. The conversation flows, the strategies are presented, and then it's an hour a meeting once a week. So I'm finding real value in that, and I think that's stepping up the ladder a little bit. And then, of course, it's implementing it all and saying, okay, this is becoming more important than this. So shifting with it gracefully, I call it. But yeah, so you would benefit from something like that. You're saying people in a room one time a week, a lot very similar to what you're doing, except not recording it live and on TV. Just a simple Zoom meeting.
Right. And a lot of people use Zoom. I mean, it's a very good program. I like it. I go to a lot of webinars on Zoom, and I think it's great. It's a really good program.
Yep, it is. It's there's 3 or 4 of them out there, and that's the one I've had the most success with for.
Yeah, that's been around the longest, and I do believe you can also do a call-in conference too. And there is a way to migrate it to Facebook. I haven't figured it out. Yeah.
Of course, I knew that was coming, but yeah, it would be interesting to see how. So the other option is when people are traveling or don't have that ability, freeconference.com is also good. So But that
Yeah.
one's more or less having a coach tap into, you know, a little bit more work to do it. But yeah, and they all change. This is the other thing. They change. So one of my girlfriends who's 65 was just, we were commiserating the other day saying, like, every single time I turn around, I've got a new technology and then I think I know it and boop, it totally changes and it does the things without asking me. You know, so that's technology. You just have to roll with it.
And that's what we were talking about before the show, that technology has got the, I can't believe it. And it's just been, it seems to me like in the last couple of years, because all of a sudden everything is exploding. You have Twitter chat now. Well, I guess I'm not really sure about that. I haven't done my homework on that yet. But you have also Instagram. You can do Instagram videos. You know, and then of course you have YouTube. Like I can take all this and put it over on my YouTube site. So, and I can also put it on my website. So, and I can also do it live. Like
Right.
I could have taken this and do it live at the same time on my website. So it's like, it's mind blowing, all the new stuff that's going on, and a lot of it I probably forgot already, but
But I love what you just did. I love what you just did, and this is a lot of what we go through in defining a stream, because everything you just mentioned is repurposing.
Mm-hmm.
It's repurposing. It's either the connectivity to be on your website at the same time. That's very awesome. But to drop this into a YouTube and create almost a course or your own channel, which eventually could become a course, all of this stuff, you know, so that's what we talk about a lot when we talk about marketing strategy planning, because you can't out the gate do all of this at once. It's got to have a flow and a consistency. But you just perfectly defined a path of growing with technology, growing your business, enlarging your audience without having to take it back to step one of personal time investment. And that's the magic of it. That's the magic of it. So see, I get all excited about that stuff. Awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's just like when I got this camera. It's a C920, and I was just like the happiest. I was like a kid with a new toy. I was just like, ah! But yeah, I really love video, and of course I have to do it for my business too. So that really got me out of my comfort zone, for one. But yeah, I think anybody who is in business now needs to have some type of video also to go along with what they're doing, because it's so easier to see the real you, the authentic you, and you know who you come across as yourself on a camera. It's just so easy to do. So
for you. You've got a large audience, my dear.
no, only 50. I don't have that large.
No, you've got a large audience to go bring into your specialty, because this is your special power. It is no way mine at all. So you've got a lot of us out there. We could use you.
and that's my hope. You know, age is not a factor, isn't gone. It's just Ladies Live, and you know, anybody that wants to come on and even talk about new technology, I mean, that would be great for us too. So
yeah, we'll do.
You know, so I saw in the bio that you gave me, who is your ideal client?
So she's going to throw that out at me. So my ideal client, when you talk about your ideal client in formulating your business, you really dreamscape it. So it goes back to, again, a lot of that dreaming and defining. And there's the physical, you know, attributes of who you see your client as, but there's also the other side of the coin, which is maybe status or situation in life or where they're at. So my perfect one avatar is a woman between age 35 and 60 plus who has some expenditures at her hands to spend on growing her business. She's either launched or she has such a fabulous idea and she's so eager that she wants to get it out to the world within a 6-month time frame. She's coachable. She's determined. She has the time to invest as well as the money to invest. And basically, she probably either lives in a condo, she's in the burbs, maybe she's in the city, but her social life is all about being out there. She loves to network, but she likes to go home and she likes to, work solitude herself. She's a learner and knows how to process that. It's not a matter of hearing one sentence and on the fly feeling like an expert. Mm-hmm. So that's my perfect avatar. And she's a go-getter, and her business has a give back component as well as a launch. And she understands the value of launching her business to make the money and the profits to be able to grow her give back portion. That's my ideal avatar.
That is wonderful. That is, when I read that, and I said, I have to ask her this question on camera, because I think that it's a great idea to have a focus of who, because let's face it, you don't want to waste your time or you don't want to waste their time. And it's better to have a plan of, who you want in your corner or your bubble. Yeah. So to me, that makes perfect sense.
Thank you. There's so many avenues I could take this business. There's some clients that people want to introduce me to that are in the small business, 1 to 50 employees. And I've worked in that area before, so I understand the training, the employee training, the sales training, the marketing training, getting everyone on the same page, all for the bottom line initiative because it's fragmented throughout the company. But that's not my key avatar. Now, would I say no to that kind of a job? If it met the parameters of what my business model is offering, I might bite and take it just for the exposure or the fun of it if I had the time. But realistically, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking, and I'm not looking for one-on-one. So I'm really hoping to run the workshops, the small group masterminds online. Workshops are the live deep dive into it. And finding those people before we actually do the workshops. Workshops take time. I've got a lot more to happen.
And what is your deep dive? What do you like your deep dive into their specialties of who they think they are, or is it going to be like?
Yeah, the deep dive in the marketing workshop is actually bringing your issues, your problems about your business. It's not for an entrepreneur who's looking to launch. That's a whole different program. But it's bringing, okay, I've made it this far, and now I don't know where I'm going, how I'm getting there. So what happens in a room like that is not only are my ideas flowing, but they're connecting with other women who just suddenly have a connection to making something happen. Because I don't want to do the work for you, I want to plan it out with you. And there's a big dividing line. I got roped into the doing the work for you part, and that didn't leave me enough time to develop I'll do the planning with part. So when you're in a work, the energy that just flies and the people who are so helpful and then end up having a connection, and all of a sudden you have this little nucleus, which ultimately becomes what? A group mastermind. If I can keep them connected and related, there's your mastermind group. You already met, you already know each other. Let me facilitate it for 6 weeks with you and then see if you want to continue. So the deep dive is actually taking the initiative, where I'm stuck or where I'm overwhelmed, figuring it out, mapping it out, putting the solutions down in an easy step-by-step process that allows life to continue, your business to continue. And this is what I teach. So I'm kind of excited to do it as a half-day workshop. I don't get enough time teaching, or it's spread out between too many weeks.
Well, I'm excited for you. And I can't, you'll have to come back once you get everything together so we can get your stuff online here.
And who knows? Maybe the hair will have grown out and I'll be a gray hair by then. I'm kind of letting the peaks come out. They're all white. We're seeing if I'm white, if I'm gray. We don't know what I am.
Well, I did that once, and I'm starting to get it back. But you know, like I said earlier, and my husband's gonna freak out, but I was thinking about doing purple hair. I don't know why. I just
That go. Hey, it grows out, it washes out, right?
yeah, I won't do permanent, you know.
I love it. This has been a pleasure. And actually, part of the reason I was so excited to join you is to step into getting over that fear of being on a camera, a live situation. I'm live when I teach. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But as soon as you mention the word, oh, I'm going to film this, it's like, no. So this was stepping out of my bounds. This was stepping out of my bounds of comfortability. That's really why I was excited about doing it.
And that's why I try to make it as comfortable as I can, and I'm not all, you know, like this and professional, because, you know, I stumble over words like you see me do earlier. You know, I'm not a perfectionist as you know, some are, but I find that sometimes I think that helps people relax and not feel intimidated.
Yeah. You were even very low-key and even keel about getting all the information and making sure we were still on. I really appreciated that. It's been a busy week. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. She needs that stuff. So,
yeah, just a little, because I like to give my guests prompts, you know, and you know, introduce them and all that good stuff. And I'm really happy you came on. And I can't wait for you to come back with all your juicy information about your.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it. And I have people to refer to you. So if you're looking for guests, I have a few in mind that I think you should talk with.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm open. I'm open to anybody wanting to come on and you know, have a chat. I love it. I love doing this. It's so much fun.
Cool. I like that. So I greatly appreciate that you offer this platform. I really do. So thank you very, very much. It was fun. As you said, you would make it fun. It was totally fun. And you also confirmed with me that I know, really feel like, yeah, even as I was saying, it was like, yes, your direction is 100%. I feel it in my soul. I feel it in my heart. And it just all feels good. And so to be able to speak it to someone that has no clue who I am, there's a lot of power in that too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I enjoyed it. I thank you so much. I'll let you go now. We're almost up to our hour. So I appreciate you coming on and explaining all your knowledge with us. And I can't wait till you get this started. I just can't wait. I think you're going to be phenomenal. And so you're going to have to come back, okay?
Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful afternoon.
You too.
Bye. Thank you, Cassandra.
Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in, everyone. And if you'd like to join me anytime, you can just PM me, and I'll take it from there. I make it easy and comfortable for you to be on here, and I am by no means an expert. I mess up and I muck it up, and that's just who I am. So all of you have a great day, and thank you all for coming. And if you're watching the replay, please leave a comment and #replay. Okay? Everybody have a good day.